Welcome, one and all, to my Destroy Rome and Every Campaign playthroughs. Of course, we'll be starting with The Rise of the Republic, which is the oldest starting date that Rome 2 goes back to. So, well, besides, well, the Wrath of Sparta, but since I'm playing Davidia and Para, that is actually the Macedonian Wars, so that takes place after the Carthage campaign, so it's a little different. But anyway, I'll be playing as Tarchuna, as you'll see. So, let's get it started. And of course, during the rise of the Republic, is Rome is doing pretty crappy. I believe their city was sacked by some smelly barbarians.
We failed you.
But are the Romans any different? I mean, we Etruscans smell much nicer because we have very nice hot spring bathhouses, which Rome doesn't have because they are weak and stupid. But I guess the Senones, which become a big enemy in the future for us, sacked their city and retreated, and so Rome is picking up the pieces, and they're going to be at war with a whole bunch of people to get revenge. And it's up for this one guy who was cast out of Rome because he was too, I guess, authoritarian or vicious. So they brought him back out of exile to come stomp the enemies of Rome. Which might include us. Maybe. Just maybe. But they have high hopes for him and for Rome to take over the world, which we will not allow in all of our campaigns. Because Rome must die. But here we are, playing as Tarchuna.
Tarcuna shines as an emerald atop a pile of pearls. Its vast and fertile lands are home to many artisans.
As you can see, they say we are a nice, fertile land that is a great place to live.
Only the city of Veii is the black sheep in the Etruscan flock.
And the VA are currently at war with the Romans, even though they're Etruscan as well. So we might be able to get a confederation with them. Maybe. Or we'll just destroy them. So I had started a campaign a little bit before this one where I ended up going to war with the VA, and I took their lands and was planning war with Rome. And so that was my plan again with this campaign. But of course, things don't go as planned. But here is our Zalith, our faction leader. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, but damn man, I hate that I'm recording this a little bit, because I'm actually pretty far into the campaign now. Looking back on all this, oh man, it's kind of sad, the stuff that happens to most of my generals. Raising taxes to maximum, and of course, start my trade. Squeeze as much money out of people as I can. Since this is Davidia and Para, for some reason, like, getting trade deals and money out of the trade deals is, like, really effective. That's what I'm just doing, just fleecing everybody. So these guys, Illyria, they're gonna screw everything up for me in the beginning. Luckily, Corsia is gonna be a good ally, and all these Etruscan kingdoms above me are gonna be good. The Lugaries, Oh, no, don't get me started then. And I decided to get a trade agreement with Rome as well.
I will recommend your worthy proposal to the Senate.
Eventually we'll destroy them. But for now, we had to deal with these guys. So yeah, Illyria freaking declared war on me, which is annoying. So I'm going to sail my butt and over and take the lands and food shortages, which will be a recurring thing for a while. But don't worry, I'll eventually solve them. So I think with Divided Empire, you need supply ships in your fleet, otherwise your armies you put in them will take attrition. And they also, I believe, when they're also close to armies that are on land, they'll resupply them. So yep, more. Luckily, this happened. Corsians declared war on Illyria. I need a new general because I don't like these hoplite generals because they're a bit too slow, and I feel like they'll be much more easier for the enemies to take out. I know they're hoplites; they're pretty tanky, but I prefer a swift general that can run from one end of the battlefield to the other.
Do we dare ignore the other world?
Of course, as you can see, the Corsians want a non-aggression pact with me, and they're willing to pay me for it, so I will accept their money. And I mean, they're going to become a very valuable ally. The VA, for some reason, want a trade agreement, and I'm like, no. And then I think about the Tartunians, they get these little events that happen every once in a while. So I decided to open that cursed tomb, and I got some money, but political tensions, which may be the reason why I have issues in the future. See, just looking at the diplomacy going on, Rome is. They like me, but they're at war with a bunch of people. Well, here we go. We're going to take the first Illyrian settlement. Actually, bugs me that I'm calling them Illyrian. Would it be Illyria? Illyria? Because Illyrians are some pirate raiders with an I, not an A, that are over on the other side of, basically above Greece. But we take their first city with no issues. I'm gonna raise another army since I only have one at the moment. And the thing about the Tartunians is if I lose my capital, I basically lose the campaign, so I want an army sitting in my capital just to make sure. And yes, I do give all my armies and stuff interesting names, as you'll see. You see those guys suffering out in the ocean over there, and they already want peace. And I'm like, no. These guys want some military access, and they're willing to pay for it, which would be good because eventually I'll be able to confederate with them if they love me enough. So, oh, that's one thing about Divinity Impera. I don't remember if it's in the vanilla game where it just takes forever to put your troops into boats. But here we are, right on their final settlement. It doesn't look like they have any armies, but they do. They're just hidden out in the fog, and I realized I should probably get a military access with Corsia so I can move across their land, which we'll do in the next turn. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Corsian army actually moved out of their settlement, and I didn't know it. But they're like in an ambush stand right next to my army. So I see. Look, I can't put them in an ambush stand because the Corsian army was just right there. So I was like, see if I can attack Illyria. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this, so I decided to move out. I was gonna plan an ambush. You see, I'm trying. It's just not working, so I'm just like, I guess I'll move forward closer and fortify. Yeah, I'm like, there's something here. But for some reason, they decided to send their army out to attack my fleet. I was thinking about fighting it, but I was like, there's probably too many, and I only have like 5 ships. So my fleet runs away and takes some attrition. And another thing, Carthaginians, they want me to surrender some guy over to them. And I decided to do it. Later on, I basically won't care about the Carthaginians, no, because I mean, they can't really influence me too much. But I think that one, hopefully, I show it. Um, I think it gives me better trades for a while. As you can see, the Corsians decide to attack the capital, and it looks like it's was a draw because both of their armies are pretty damaged. But I decided to move up my army and just support them. I thought they were just gonna take it. I mean I kind of wanted it since I already had a settlement, but I mean I was actually kind of hoping they would take it too because I don't own the whole province, which would cause issues. And they ended up not taking it, so I was just like, okay, I guess I'll take it to get rid of them. Yeah, just the garrison, and since there's my army and the Corsians, so I'll just take it. For some reason, I lost a ship. That was odd. There we go. First faction destroyed and a new enemy to fight. It's one of my Etruscan allies being attacked by the Lugaris. You see, man, these guys are gonna be a pain in the butt. They own a lot of land, and I can see that I can get a confederation with these guys who are getting their butts kicked. I see if I can squeeze some money out of them before they do. It doesn't seem they're willing to. Might really trying. Just for 300. And I believe eventually I just like gave up and just like okay. So there we go. Now we have these 2 settlements up here. Of course, later on, this is going to cause an issue with politics because for some reason with politics, when you confederate, they like put all the Confederate faction leaders into like one group of the in the of the political families, and it's really annoying. Oh, but you see, I'm looking at the politics. You see, the Velcha family just like has a whole bunch of members now. My king doesn't have a wife, and then my king's sister, is married to a different family. But here we go. This guy right here, Marky. I don't know how you say his name, or maybe just Mark. But this guy, he is going to be the goat. He is, let's just say, amazing. He will go on to become my faction leader and do some crazy things. For some of these old guys want a non-aggression pact. turn in all those politicians, and of course, freaking no food. Rome wants military access for some reason, and there's a rebellion up here. Luckily, that Quarrel of the Gods, I got some happy people out of that. But I need to go and deal with this rebellion on this island, and then we can go after the Lugaris. And for some reason, Rome got peace with the VA. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess they have a client state, which won't last long. And yeah, my protection is expiring. Get rid of these rebels up here. Easy peasy. Just kill them all. Frickin' food shortage. And we're getting close to it. So I thought they only had like one army right there. I was like, I can't reach them in this turn, so I just decided to fortify. Realistically, I should have fortified right next to the settlement. But this ended up happening, where I had to fight a half stack and a full stack. And I don't even have a full stack. So this is going to be one one sketchy fight. But it's alright, because the Heralds of Marquis are some badass guys. Luckily, since I was fortified, it's just a fortification battle, so I can easily use my hoplites. Yes, I know, I have hoplites, even though, back in the day, hoplites were like the main infantry units.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
But basically, they're only going to end up attacking um, that side of the fort. And annoyingly, their second army has cavalry that I need to deal with my cavalry. Luckily, I think they only had two, so should be able to deal with them quite easily. Just need to surround them and pound them. Also, something that's interesting is that my cavalry can get the flying wedge formation. So I believe that increases their speed and charging damage. But I think it causes issues with the formation when you try to withdraw them. You know, hammer and anvil, you have a stationary unit holding them in place, and then you ram into the back, and then you pull them out. I guess it causes issues with that. And so your units might lose a bunch of morale. But we easily take out one of the cavalry units. So now it's just 3 versus 1. And my hoplites are holding them off. Obviously, hoplites in Divided Impair, when you got them in a hoplite phalanx just sitting there, they can hold forever. So that's why I'm just like, I'm not worrying about anything that's going on over there. Yeah, for some reason they're trying to retreat towards my fort, which is a bad idea since I got the fortification has the towers shooting at them. And there they go. Now I'll bring my cavalry around to deal with their missile units since they're small and squishy. But as you can see, they actually have a spear unit that was defending them, so I was only able to get one of their units because they came over and started chasing my other cavalry unit. So I decided to see if I can squish this spear unit. Or maybe just distract him. You see they got like a crap ton of forces coming in. It's always a bit annoying too since most of the... Back in the day, like every unit... unit was like a spear unit, so they're really annoying to attack. So I have to pick and choose what battles I want to do with my cavalry. Yeah, so they just have a giant blob right in front of my hoplites. If I had artillery, or if I had more missile units, as you can see, I only have one slinger unit in my army, unfortunately. Oh, that's right. This sword unit that I was attacking, I didn't realize it at the time, but that was actually the enemy general. I was so it was kicked the butt out of my, well, my final cavalry unit that is in my general. I ended up moving my other hoplite units off this side of the other side of the wall because there wasn't any enemies attacking that way. So bring them over to back up and support, and use my general to chase away all these missile units that are harassing my hoplites. It sucks that I only have one cavalry unit now since my, my other ones I made a mistake of attacking the enemy general with. But I don't want to end up losing my general because I know that if I lose him, there's going to be a all out retreat. So I want to keep Marquis safe. And unfortunately, I screwed up since the only entrance that the enemy aren't attacking, I put a bunch of walls around it. So it would take forever for me to actually flank with my infantry units, as you can see on the right side there. So basically the only unit I have outside is my general. So all I have to do is freaking just hope hope my army can hold tight. And for some reason that one guy got in with my infantry group there. Decided to bring in my general again to attack the missile units since most of the enemy infantry units are attacking my hoplites. And finally I start mopping up the missile units. But they're some of their units are routing and some of my units are starting to get exhausted. Luckily I have some replacements for them. And I brought my general over here to get rid of some of the routing units so they don't come back. And then also, because this is the side that they first started attacking, so all their units are super exhausted. So doing a few rear charges into the back of them should make them start routing. You see, it's working with a few of them. What I really want to do is I really want to get rid of their general. He's in there someplace. Probably. I mean, he probably isn't one of those half-naked dudes. But he finally routs and dies. So that's good. That means the morale of the enemy should be going down. And this side of the wall is almost clear. There we go. Now my units are free to head out of my fort finally and flank around behind. Oh yeah, and this this routing hoplite unit, when they routed, they destroyed my wall over there, which I did find amusing. But yeah, and they have army losses ends up happening, so I end up routing. And I try to kill as many as I can. It sucks though, since all I have is my one cavalry unit, so I end up stopping because I'm like, oh man, this is gonna get annoying. Having my general run back and forth. There we go. Our first battle we fought, and we only had, they basically had double our forces, almost triple our forces. So that was pretty good. Our first outing. I end up killing them all because, I mean, they're my enemies and I want to make my friends love me. But yeah, first victory for Marky, and a well deserved one.